Alright peeps, down at the Saturday morning garage on Saturday, nice and early, and I'm going to give you guys a little lesson on dent removal today and how to do it the right way. And I have a dent here on the lower part of the door and another one right up here, and I need to fix these first so that I can line up the edge of my quarter panel and just make sure that it's perfect. So what I did is I ground that down with some 50, not aggressive, and then I just took a wire wheel and got that all set. And when you're doing dents, you need to assess the damage so you know where to pull. And you always want to pull from the area of least damage first. So if we go over this here, this is pretty deep right here, but if we go to this edge, it's not so deep. So this is where you would start and then work your way along here. Now I've also got this one here, which is not so bad, but the problem is I need to do this one first before I do that one, because this small one, which is above this big one, if I run my hand this way, this part here is bowed out. And if I do this first, it's not going to let me get this curve properly. So I need to work this one first. So I've got that prepped, and I'm using a tool that's called a unispotter or a stud welder. And what this tool does is it allows you to actually pop a stud right there and then attach the puller, and you go along so that you can work out the dent without drilling holes. Drilling holes, not a good thing to do. What happens is, leaves a hole, you put your Bondo on top. Bondo is porous, and that's why you see Bondo crack and chip and peel, and just, you know, it's old school. Now I realize a lot of you guys don't have access to this tool. You can do it that way. The key is, you need to weld up the hole with your MIG welder when you're finished. If you do it that way, it'd be okay. And a couple of other tools that I'm using here. I'm using what's called a spoon, body hammer, and then a shrinking disc. And the shrinking disc goes on your grinder, and what that allows you to do is actually get the part that you fixed real smooth, and it only requires a minimal amount of Bondo. It basically allows you to get, repair a dent and do it without using a lot of filler. It really smooths the panel out well. A lot of guys, it's old school, and a lot of guys don't even know when you say to them, what the heck is a shrinking disc? They have no clue. So anyway, we're going to get busy here. I got this all prepped, and I'll show you how we do it. Okay guys, so this is the way this works. You can see I've already done a few spots. I've got the tool attached, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling on this, and while I have the tension on that, I'm taking my spoon here and slapping around here like that so that the metal will stay where I pull it. And the reason I'm using this instead of the hammer is, first off, this is a small little crease. This here gives you better results. You don't have all the pick marks and hammer marks. It just makes it smooth. You can see where I pulled out there. I just went around here, went underneath a little bit, and you're just doing that as you have the tension on the stud, or if you were drilling holes, your dent puller. Alright, got this one done. And I just want to show you, sometimes, it takes a bunch of these to do it. And then what you do with these afterwards is you just cut them off, or you pull them off like that. You just go like that. They come right off. Thing. Most of the time. Alright, now we're going to attack the bottom one. So this here is ready now. I would just take my shrinking disc, and you guys can go online and look up what a shrinking disc is and how it works. It's, you know, takes a little bit to get used to. There's a feel to it. But in essence, what it does is you run over here, you heat up the panel where I pulled this, and then you spray water on it, and it actually pulls this in a little bit. And you just keep doing that till you get it smooth. Alright, so I got this dent pretty much out. The rest will have to be done with the shrinking disc. But what I like to do when I think I'm finished is I like to take a straight edge, and if you look at that, that's where the dent was. And this will help you. If you use a straight edge as you're pulling along, it'll tell you where the dent's got to go. That's just a little trick. So I think I did a pretty damn good job here. Alright guys, I pretty much got this dent here set. And what I did, like I told you, is I worked from the area of least damage, which was right up to about here on the bottom crease, and then we had this big dent in here, and so I came around the perimeter, got it to here, came around the perimeter, worked in, came down here, came to here, and then I was able to finish this up. So this is pretty well set. I'm just going to take the studs off, and any further work will be done with the shrinking disc and maybe a little bit of hammer and dolly work. So anyway, just a little tip for you too. If you're doing body work, don't grind the metal, then do your body work on bare metal. It's old technology and it doesn't hold up as well. What you want to do is put epoxy primer on first, and then put your Bondo on top of the epoxy primer. Most of the epoxy primers, that's the way that they're used. All you need to do is just scratch it up with a red pad first, and then do your body work on top of the epoxy primer. I can't stress it enough. Putting it on top of bare metal is just old technology, and it's not going to hold up as well. Alright, so hope you guys learned something, and enjoy. Have a great Saturday.